trundled off down the track to the office and come to the office at a certain time. So in this way, they live out their day because they're getting paid for that. Money is not. So we must ask ourselves, why are we in this Krishna consciousness movement getting up early in the morning and taking a shower and wearing this Vaishnava apparel, applying tilak to the body, chanting our rounds, attending Mangala Arati, and all these activities? Why? What is the motivation? So if we are Rupanuga, if we're actually following in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami, the answer is, so we're doing it for Krishna. We're doing it because we have already, even at this stage, Vaidhi Bhakti stage, some attraction, some attachment, some appreciation for Krishna and Krishna's devotees and devotional activities. And Srila Prabhupada said this in itself is love. There's already love of Krishna. When someone objected, Srila Prabhupada, we have no love of Krishna. Prabhupada said, no, am I paying you? You're getting a check every week? Oh yes, you're an everyday attended Mangala Arati. Very good. So you get a check from the guru. 16 hours every day? Oh yes. Here you go. That one is paying the devotees. So, Srila Rupa Goswami has presented to the world nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction, giving the path, chalking out the path to Krishna Prema, pure love of Krishna. And where does it begin? It begins with Vaidhi-sana, following the regulative principle. But out of love, one does this out of love for Krishna. So this is how bona fide love for Krishna is expressed in our stage of devotion. Now I'm making this point because we should check our hearts and see that this really is the motivation for what we are doing. Because Srila Rupa Goswami has pointed out that just as there are those who discard the regulative principles, there's this term he uses, niyamagraha. So niyamagraha can refer to those who think there is no use in following these regulative principles. This is all just mechanical scheduling of time. What does this have to do with love of Krishna? Love of Krishna means to feel the ecstasy, to cry, to fall on one's face in dust. This is love. It doesn't mean getting up at such and such time and doing such and such duties throughout the day. So this is false. This is clearly false. But on the other side, there are those, in another application of this word niyamagraha, there are those who do follow strictly the rules and regulations, but not out of a loving feeling for Krishna. They're doing it because perhaps out of a sense of pride. That just as in the material world, material society, there are persons who try to excel others, show themselves as better than others by performing their duties more correctly, more apparently enthusiastically. Just like in the job, there are those who want the promotion over their fellow workmates. So they're working harder. They're working harder, they're looking, is the boss seeing me? Very enthusiastically. They're sleeping. I'm very active. So you should give me the promotion. So just like that is going on in the material world sometimes in the society of devotees. It is seen there are persons who enter and they're acting very enthusiastically, with apparent enthusiasm, but also just to draw attention to themselves, just for recognition, for promotion, for gaining some advantage. And sometimes we see there are those who are engaged in devotional service simply because they have nowhere else to go. They can't get on anywhere else in life. So they've taken shelter here with the ISKCON, and they're going through the duties because that is what is expected of them. It's kind of a social thing. Just like if you're, again, part of the society out there, then there are social expectations you have to fulfill. You have to dress in a certain way. You have to have a job. You have to live according to a certain standard. If you're too much different from the rest of society, then they think you're weird. And they don't want you to be around. And they shut you up in the madhouse if you're too far out. So someone wants to get along in Karmi society, he has to at least, he may be crazy, but at least externally he tries to act like everyone else so that they don't notice that he's completely bonkers, he's completely insane. And then everyone leaves him alone. So sometimes it is seen also within our society, unfortunately. There are those who are just tagging along with the rest, acting as the others do, so that they won't be recognized as being totally out of it. And they won't be asked to leave. You think you should go home now. But you see, you can't, you may be able to, like there's this old saying, you can, what is it? You can fool some of the people all of the time. And you can fool all of the people some of the time. But you can't fool all of the people all of the time. So that's a fact, also within the society of devotees. You can pretend to be enthusiastic, strict followers of the sadhana bhakti process. You can pretend to be very enthusiastic for a particular service. But if there's no genuine attraction, no genuine taste, no genuine feeling, love for Krishna, for the Guru, for the spiritual master, for Krishna's devotees, if that is not there, then sooner or later the mask will come off. Srila Prabhupada said that Krishna, just as he is very eager to glorify his sincere devotee, as I said, sincere devotee can mean simple devotee, not very intellectual devotee, but he has some love in his heart for Krishna. So Krishna is very eager to glorify such a devotee, to exalt such a devotee, to show the world that this devotee, this person is very dear to me. Because he actually has some feeling in his heart. And that's why. This is what Krishna likes. This is what attracts Krishna. It's not mechanical expertise. Krishna is the most expert, probably Krishna is the most expert scientist. Without any effort, he manifests, as we explained, all these universes and everything inside of them. And simply because we can build, we're expert in wiring some machine or something. Oh, we're very expert. Don't think that impresses Krishna. Because that ability comes from Krishna in the original place. It's invested in us for some time. But the ability, Krishna says, I am the ability in man. So it's not. Pleasing Krishna is not a matter of external material expertise. Pleasing Krishna is a matter of devotion. So one who does, as I was saying, Prabhupada said that for one who is sincere, Krishna is very eager to glorify him. And Krishna is just as eager to expose the insincere. One who's just making a show, just puttering along in life, staying with the crowd, but who is actually not attracted to Krishna in the heart. Beyond just there must always be some sort of attraction. Otherwise you cannot enter into the assembly of devotees. That's also must be mentioned. But once we've come into this association of devotees, we have a responsibility to increase that attraction. By conscious effort. When we chant our 16 rounds, we should be consciously trying to improve that chanting every day. We should be actually trying to taste the nectar of the syllables of the holy name. We may not be tasting, but at least we should be trying to. Because that is showing real faith and appreciation. The Shastras tell us that Krishna is his holy name. That when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna is dancing on our tongue. So we should at least have some appreciation for this. And try. We should be praying to Krishna within the heart as we're chanting. But please appear within the syllables of this holy name. We should be trying to have relationship with the holy name, with Krishna. Try to chant with love and affection. And as I said, this attempt is very pleasing to Krishna. He will receive it. But if we're doing everything in a dry, stereotyped, mechanical way, just to get along in this society so that no one will criticize us too much, then something else will be cultivated in the heart. If not an increasing mood of devotion to Krishna, then something else. A mood of sense gratification, a mood of enjoying one's position in this Hare Krishna movement. A mood of duplicity, cheating. This is a result of offenses. And as this other mood, this other taste, prakrita rasa, it is sometimes called the rasa, the taste of matter, prakriti. Rather, he's very much attracted to materialistic sense gratification. So this is all arranged by Krishna. Actually, it is also for the benefit of that person, that he's exposed, that the mask comes off, everyone sees, oh, this is horrible. We've always thought he was a very active, engaged person, doing so many things, and now just see. This is for his benefit too, that he will become serious, to perform his activities for Krishna, not for some other ulterior motive. So don't think, just to conclude this, don't think that you get great credit just by being busy. Monkeys are also busy. We should be busy, yes, but for Krishna. That's what Prabhupada always said. We should be busy for Krishna. Being busy is no great credit. I'm busy. Monkeys are also busy. And Prabhupada said, monkeys, yes, they're always busy. And they seem to be very renounced too. They live in a tree. They don't live in a house. street. They don't even wear clothes. So renounced, they eat, they're vegetarian, they eat only fruit. But they're always engaged in sex. Jumping from branch to branch. One can observe in Vrindavan, the monkeys. This is their main activity, sex life. So they're busy, they're renounced, living a very simple life, but this is their rasa, this is their taste. Sex. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam said that you can judge your advancement in devotional service to the degree that one is attracted to Kṛṣṇa and not attracted to sex life. To that degree, he's advancing in spiritual life. And if we find ourselves more attracted to sex than to Kṛṣṇa, it means something is very wrong with what we're doing, despite all of our busyness. Something is very, very wrong with us. So, we don't want to be embarrassed one day when the mask drops off in front of everyone. And we should take steps to change the direction of our attraction from Maya to Kṛṣṇa. And that is not, I found sometimes it's very difficult for some persons to understand how to do that. They always ask, but how is it done? But it's actually very simple. It's not difficult if you have pure devotion of the soul. We have all the tools. Prabhupada has given us all the tools to practice pure devotion. One simply has to do it. So associate with those. We should associate with the devotees who have this pure devotion of the soul. And in their association, we will naturally pick it up. It's a natural thing. It's like the old story in that famous book, Tom Sawyer, I think it is. And Mark Twain, he wrote these books, Huckleberry Finn and Mark Sawyer. Anyway, one of these books, Tom Sawyer was asked by his mother to whitewash the fence out in front of the house. He was to paint it white. And he thought, why should I do all this myself? But then he thought, but nobody else wants to do it either. So then he devised a plan. He got out the buckets of whitewash, he got the brush, and he was standing out in front of his house. He was whitewashing, very enthusiastically. And one by one, his friends were coming by, and they were looking. They were saying, oh, Tom, you have to do all this work today. Well, that's too bad. And he was just whitewashing. What do you mean it's too bad? This is great. And then the friends more friends were gathered, and they were looking. They were looking at each other. Well, he looks like he's having a lot of fun. The crowd got bigger and bigger and bigger. All of his friends, they were standing in front. Then they started to ask, Tom, could we do this for a while? No. Go away. Oh, Tom, come on, don't be like that. You're having so much fun. We also want to do it. No, I'm doing this. Please, Tom. Then they were even offering things. Tom, I'll give you this if you'll let me do it. I'll give you this. So he was collecting all these things. All right. But not too long. Each one of you, then he figured it out that if each one of them did it for a certain amount of time, then the whole fence would be finished. So when that was all set up, then he left to do some nonsense. So his friends were very busy. He whitewashed the whole fence. So this is a mundane sort of example, but it just gives the idea how enthusiasm is infectious. When we see someone who's enthusiastic to do something, And naturally we become enthusiastic also. So we're wondering how we become enthusiastic about devotional service in the right way. In other words, enthusiastic to please Krishna. We have to seek out the association of those who are enthusiastic to please Krishna. And then we will catch that too. So it's a very simple thing. Simple, as Prabhupada said, simple for those who are simple. For those who are crooked, who are deliberately making things difficult, then what can we do about that? So I'll stop here. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Are there any questions? Check one.
Pronunciations, because Prabhupada writes the early articles, he writes to Karma Yoga, practically is clarifying the position of the Karma Yoga as being actually a pure devotee. Later on, he is making a difference between Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. Maybe we could define.
Yeah, well, actually, there is no contradiction if we follow Sri Krishna's directives in Bhagavad Gita. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, even Mystic Yoga, Stanga Yoga, are explained ultimately in terms of bhakti. Krishna describes these processes and he brings them to the conclusion of service and surrender to him. You can serve me in this way by following the karma path or jnana path or mystic path. But by serving me, Krishna says, it becomes bhakti. So all of these different paths, they become like rivers flowing into the ocean of bhakti. So now, one who hangs on, who anchors himself in the river and doesn't flow down to the sea, to the ocean of bhakti, then he is subject to criticism. Just as you were pointing out, that in one place Śrīmad Prabhupada was describing Karma Yoga as to be devotional service. That's a fact. And then in another place, he will point out the shortcomings of the Karma Yogi. But that Karma Yogi is one who does not come to Krishna's conclusion. He does not accept Krishna's conclusion that one should engage his karma in devotional service to Krishna. Then that is bhakti. So there's always this two applications of the term. In all cases, karma, jnana, yoga. They have their applications in devotional service and bhakti terms. And that means in relationship to Krishna. And when it is not in relationship to Krishna, then it is considered more or less material activity. And thus it is condemned by the Vaishnavas. It is something like, just to give an example, to serve Krishna, we may drive a car. So to serve Krishna nicely, driving car means we should follow all the rules of the road. See, if that's your duty, to be the temple driver, then we don't want to see the temple car come zooming up out of the underground parking lot, flying through the air. You see them spinning around, and go racing off down the road, sideswiping other cars. And then coming to the grocery market at 100 kilometers an hour, smashing through the plate glass window, knocking everything, all the shelves, all the stuff everywhere, and then the devotee gets out and makes a quick purchase, and backs the car up out of the shop and drives down the road like a madman again. This will not be accepted as devotional service. So, the rules of the road, the traffic laws, I mean that's, you see, they in themselves, that is not connected to Krishna, to Krishna's service. But because the devotee wants to serve Krishna properly, nicely, then he follows the rules of the road for Krishna. And thus, even driving the car, even his stopping at the traffic light, at the red light, he slows down to stop. That's devotional service. He's doing it for Krishna. Perhaps for himself, he might run the red light. If he was, as he was before he became a devotee. Perhaps he used to drive like that, not caring. But for Krishna, we must care, because we have to represent our movement to the rest of society. So therefore, following these traffic laws becomes bhakti yoga for a devotee. And he may be respected also by the police for that, the traffic police. They may say, oh, we like these Hare Krishnas because they're very good drivers. I don't know if that's actually true. I hear in Stockholm, for instance, you get a lot of parking tickets. The authorities have been displeased by that. Ideally, Srila Prabhupada said that our men, he once said, our men should be loved for their honesty, their honest dealings. So that also includes proper driving of car. This is just an example I'm giving. Now, say there's someone else, a criminal, a drug dealer. So he's driving into downtown Stockholm with a load of cocaine, and he wants to sell it, but he doesn't want to get caught by the police. So he's also driving very carefully, because he doesn't want police to stop him because he ran red light and look in the car and see all the drugs. So he's driving very carefully. But this is not pleasing Krishna. Now he may be at the same red light with the devotee, you see. And when the light turns green, then they both the devotee and the drug dealer are driving off very carefully with identical concern for traffic safety. But one is pleasing Krishna, and the other is not. The other is going to hell. Although both are following the same traffic rules. Very nicely. So this is like the difference between one who follows the rules of Karma Yoga for Krishna, and one who follows the rules of Karma Yoga just as precisely, but for something else, for his own sense gratification. It's like the difference between devotee driving and drug dealer driving. Both are driving car following traffic rules, but for completely different motivation. All right. Since you have your karma to do, we're going to stop this class. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.